What's up, YouTube? This is Two Raw 4 TV. So before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother Billy Light Jr. for the $5 donation via the Cash App. He says, "Got to bring back Two Raw Brokaw for these fake fans." Well, you're going to see that, man. You're going to see in the playoffs a series of fake fans. Usually it goes like this. Sometimes you got people who are casuals who just floating around watching basketball, and they see a team that everybody's talking about. They might like a certain team, uh, the players or whatever, and then they just all of a sudden gravitate to that team and start rooting for them. Because one team I think you're gonna start seeing that with, for the moment at least, is Minnesota. Minnesota just came into Memphis, a team that many of us looked upon with title aspirations, a team that we all see as a threat to Phoenix in the Western Conference, and they came into Memphis and beat them rather easily, all right? Behind big games, behind Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, plus contributions by clutch three-pointers by D'Lo and Patrick Beverly, okay? So, that's the team that some people are going to gravitate to. Then, of course, you got people whose teams are eliminated. They mad at the team that eliminated their team, so all of a sudden they living vicariously through the team that they play in the next round. All of a sudden rooting for them, just like how I know that a lot of Atlanta Hawks fans last year when Milwaukee was playing the Hawks in the conference finals, a lot of them were nothing but disgruntled Brooklyn Nets fans. But that's what you see, man. But it has been quite some time since I brought out Two Raw Brokaw and his devastating updates and, quite I might add, devastating news. Yeah, it's been a minute since I did that. We'll probably see that in the playoffs, man. But much respect to you. I already talked about the game now. Um, Memphis came Minnesota came into Memphis and beat that ass, and they now have home court advantage. They won 130 to 117 to take a 1-0 lead in this best of seven first round series. Karl Anthony Towns had 29 points and 13 rebounds. Anthony Edwards had one of the highest scoring NBA playoff debut performances in the history of the league, 36 points. D'Angelo Russell did not have a great game, but he did hit some big shots on the stretch, 10 points, 9 assists. Malik Beasley had 23 points. McDaniels had 15. And for the Grizzlies, John Morant had 32 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists. And that stat line sounds very impressive. However, John Morant was on a trajectory to have 40-some points at one point. He started the games extremely hot, 6 or 7 from the floor, but then finished the game something like 1 of 10, and a lot of his points came from free throws. And even down the stretch, he missed some of them. So John Morant was, I can't say a guy with 32 points got shut down, but in the second half, he definitely was neutralized. Dillon Brooks had 24 points. I'm going to leave that alone. Bane had 17. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 12. Clark had 13. When you look at it, man, it was just Memphis just didn't match their intensity. Memphis didn't match their intensity, and at times throughout the game, and necessary times, Minnesota cranked it up defensively. And, the presence, the interior presence of of Memphis. Excuse me, the interior presence of the Timberwolves gave Memphis problems. Overall, from the floor, the Timberwolves were 50% from the floor, 39% from three. Memphis, 45% overall, only 26% from three. The only reason why this game was not a horrid blowout was because of the fact that the Grizzlies shot 43 free throws compared to the Timberwolves 27. Um, Rebounds were in Timberwolves' favor, 46-35. Assists, block shots were even. Memphis had more turnovers, and they did start getting sloppy. Excuse me, Minnesota had more turnovers. I'm always do this with these two teams. They're both big. Memphis, Minnesota. So excuse me if I sometimes refer to Memphis as Minnesota and Minnesota as Memphis. But Minnesota had 17 turnovers, so that kind of kept Memphis in the game a little bit. Um, Points in the paint went to Memphis, but oh boy, this is when, from watching this game, as spectacular as John Morant can be, this is when, for watching the game, this is when him being only 6'3" can hurt you. You know, the size of the Timberwolves, I think, gives John Morant obviously some difficulty. Okay, they're a big team. Shout out to Patrick Beverly too. Patrick Beverly, we all remember when he was traded from what was it, the Clippers to what was it? What was it? Memphis? What was the team he was traded to, and then he went to Minnesota? I can't remember the other team, but was it Memphis and then Minnesota? I can't remember. Uh, but when he ultimately went to Minnesota, we all laughed at that shit. Like, damn. Now, when I laugh, when I say laugh, I don't mean me personally like laughing like he deserves it, but I'm like, God damn. How do you go from playing with the Clippers to playing with the Timberwolves, who historically has been one of the worst franchises in the history of basketball? But who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? The Clippers are done. Minnesota just pulled off an upset that many of us weren't expecting. I was expecting Memphis to win this series at least something like 4 games to 1. But we might have a series on our hands, man. This thing might go 7. So we'll have to wait and see. Tell me what you guys think.